Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to the Library Tour of Doom. This is a tour that Lord Ganesha and I are conducting of all the books that I have ever seen, touched, or even heard tell of. And today we're going back to 2013, 2014, something like that, for a work of natural history. This is The World of the Salt Marsh, and this is by Charles Seabrook, with a beautiful cover illustration of the very type of thing in question, that is a salt marsh. This looks at salt marshes along the east coast of the United States and delves into their history, their natural history, how they form, what their moods and seasons are like, the ecological dangers that they face, and also the people that explore them, champion them, protect them, also make their living off them. And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It's got black and white illustrations throughout that are quite good, and lots of interviews and stats and charts and whatnot to give you an idea not just of the scientific facts involved in salt marshes and their nature and their preservation, but also the human side of things. And the one element that maybe I would have wanted to be done a little bit more strongly in this would be the natural side of things, the non-human inhabitants of salt marshes, although they are certainly represented in these pages, and I have read other books on that subject, so I'm not expecting one book to do everything, although The World of the Salt Marsh does more to capture this incredible world. I don't know if where you live you have any salt marshes. I have spent an enormous amount of time tramping around and also paddling around salt marshes in Massachusetts and sometimes in other parts of the Northeast, but mainly Massachusetts salt marshes, mainly especially in exhaustive amount the salt marshes of Cape Cod and the surrounding area. I know the moods of these things. I know the amazing things that you can see when you just quietly paddle around one corner. Because when you're sitting low on the water there, the grasses and growth are in a typical salt marsh will block your view of what's around a corner, so you don't know what you're going to encounter, and it doesn't know that you're going to be there. It can be a little nerve-wracking when you're doing that with a canoe full of beagles, but nevertheless, I've done it in all weathers, and it's amazing. I love salt marshes, absolutely love them. A dream of mine would be to have a very tiny house. People always dream of having houses. I've never really understood that. It's way too much space for one person, even if they have a bunch of dogs. But one tiny little house, one room and one little room on the side, one kitchen, that is not much more space than what I have now. Much less space than what I have now, and would be just fine by me. And I've always dreamed of having one of those little houses on a salt marsh, perched between the marsh and the sea. So that the world is talking to me all the time. That would be so much fun. But in the meantime, I can do it vicariously through books like this. So your book today is a recommend, especially if you are a fan of salt marshes. If you know them and have spent any time on them, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear about which ones you know, in case we know the same ones. In case I've been to a lot of salt marshes all up and down the eastern seacoast, and it could be that I know yours, or elsewhere in the world. Salt marshes are not particularly common as a biome, but nevertheless they do occur, and I'd love to hear your stories. But anyway, that is your library tour of doom for today. Is The World of the Salt Marsh. I don't know that I am not blurbed on this paperback, and I don't know that I'm blurbed at all on subsequent paperbacks of this. I think I wrote about this, but maybe I didn't. I've written a lot about salt marshes, but maybe not that one particular book. But maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows what we'll encounter tomorrow? So I'll wrap this up for now, and we'll find out then. Thank you, BookTube.